So this time it's 13 minutes plus an additional lap. So these drivers will go into battle for the final time this season. Really can't tell you what's my prediction of who's going to win the title, but we'll find out a little bit later on with our podium at around about 4:30 this afternoon, local time here in Belgium. Time now locally is 13:51. So the red lights are ignited on the starting gantry. 13 minutes set on the clock one more time for Micromax to go racing here this weekend and also in the 2019 campaign with it all to play for. And the good thing is that already by the exit of turn number 9, we have got them in 2x2 rolling start formation here. So they come round towards turn 12 to kickstart their season finale here at Karting Genk, the home of champions. Let's go racing one final time for Micromax. They come into the tram lines and the revs rise. They enter into the tram lines, false start called. So full start it is. So they're going to have to reset again. So they're going to bring it to a crawl heading into turn number 5. So full yellow flag conditions here. The rain is still falling here in Limburg, in the Limburg region in Genk, as they go through turn number 6. They're going to have a bit of a tall order ahead of them because it's anyone's guess as to what is going to happen here. As they now go in dual file formation through into turn number 7. They're keeping it very slow and steady, heading through into turn 9. So again, the starting order is as follows: Schormans, Strauven, Sederski, Nijs, Van der Stroys, Jonkers, Radenkovic, Tom Vangelangendonk, Ollie Wise, Karel Stout, Kaz Tobben, and Dries Vangelangendonk, who will look to get his way up the field in this 13-minute plus 1 additional lap encounter. They're being told to slow here. Red flag's been called. Red flag has been called, it looks like. So, red flag. That's it. Red flag has been called. So, red flag. Drivers will need to slow down, put on the anchors. So, red flag, and they are stopping just in front of the start-finish line. Red flag has been called, ladies and gentlemen. So just bear with us. So red flag has been called. As soon as I've got a further update, I will inform you accordingly. Thank you. timekeeping issue. You have a delay in progress. We have a timekeeping issue. This is a general paddock announcement. Timekeeping issue is going to be technically resolved at the moment. As soon as we have a further update, we will inform you accordingly. Thank you. So everything has now been restored. Our timekeeping is now back up and functioning. So one formation lap this time. So the drivers will get ready to steel themselves for 13 minutes plus an additional lap. So the drivers really need to get into formation pretty quickly, which they are doing now, being told to slow coming into the final corner. So once again, the grid is as follows. Kasper Schurmans, Thomas Strauven are on the front row, ahead of Sadurski, Nijs, Van der Stroys, Jonkers, Radenkovic, Tom van Langendonk, Ollie Wise, Karel Stout, Kaz Tobben, and Dries van Langendonk, rounding out the 12 strong. So they go into the tram lines. Will we get going? They rise to the occasion and they go racing for the final time in 2019. Do the Micromax contingent. The plume of spray being ejected from the rear tyres on the karts as it's nearly 3-4 abreast. As Sadurski trying to go up into third place does so, and someone was very, very brazen there. I'm wondering if that's Olivier Jonkers maybe, having got back up into fourth place. So at the minute, the field is pretty much quite closely concertinaed together thus far, apart from one driver. Looks to me to be being Dries van Langendonk that's a bit forlorn at the back part of the field. So some of the drivers really, really getting stuck in and getting into the meat and potatoes of this race as they're trying to fight amongst one another. Ollie Wise has definitely got a lot to handle in front of him, at least two competitors. So if he can get past, maybe he's got a chance of maybe going a bit further forward. Tommy van der Stroy is looking to be in 6th position at the minute. Ollie Wise is just a couple of places back in 8th. As they now come round to complete lap number 1. And Tommy van der Stroy has got Karel Stout and Ollie Wise there, as there's a big bit of standing water just on the approach on the outside towards turn 12 as Kasper Schurmans takes a look over the right shoulder and is leading by just over 0.3 of a second as Ollie Wise is slingshotting past Karel Stout for position. Is he going to make it through? I think he has. He has, hasn't he? Yes, he has, and he's actually icing. It looks to be Tommy van der Stroy. So van der Stroy drops down the order, trying to go up the inside of the Brit into turn 4, but Wise is pretty much in front. That's a great move from the 56 from the United Kingdom through turn number 4. Great job from him. So at the minute, it is still Kasper Schurmans. Thomas Strauven leading, Sadurski in 2nd, Nijs in 3rd, Sadurski in 3rd, Nijs down in 4th position. But there's still plenty of this race still to go here, as it's going to be an interesting point over the next few moments in this race. As we've got about 10.5 minutes remaining, as there's an absolute battle royale, and Tommy van der Stroy is really on the back foot. He's struggling in these wet weather conditions, as Ollie Wise now trying to chase down Karel Stout for position, and just ahead of him is not just Karel Stout, it's also Matej Radenkovic in the 99. So really, it's changing the dynamics of what could happen in deciding this year's title. Van der Stroy really needs to get a motor on now and try and move up the field, but with the top 4 already breaking away quite considerably at this point. So Schurmans still leads, Strauven still in 2nd. And who's not to say what might happen come the end of this particular race, because your guess is as good as mine. The unpredictability factor has really kicked into high gear as they come through into turn 7. So Schurmans still continuing to lead. Strauven getting a little bit closer now in 2nd position. A little bit of a gap between Strauven and Sadurski, with Len Nijs still rounding out the top 4. So 9 minutes and 14 plus an additional lap left to go on the clock here. So Schurmans, Strauven, Sadurski, Nijs, and it looks to be Olivier Jonkers, Matej Radenkovic, and Tommy van der Stroy is really struggling. He's got Tom van Langendonk, it looks like, just behind the 54. It's a real struggle for Van der Stroys, who's been absolutely nowhere in this final. And that's a real championship ramification item there to consider. So we are coming to just over 8 minutes remaining in this race. And Schurman's now being pressurised by by Strauven. Swiderski still keeping resolute in third place. The rain is still hitting hard here at the asphalt in Genk as there's another move up the inside. Radenkovic looks to have lost out to Olivier Jonkers. They are trading places, but that's allowing the likes of Karel Stout and Ollie Wise to close up on them. So the leaders come around to complete another lap here. So the gap now between first and second was just over 3.5 tenths. It's now it's pretty much there that Strauven is trying to close in on Schurman's, which makes me sort of believe that Van der Stroys' title hopes have been sort of what expunged, but I'm not too sure. It's going to be whatever happens at the end of the weekend results, because the weekend winner here will also get a ticket to the International Trophy at Le Mans next August. But then there's also the championship title that is on the line here. I've not been sure of what's going to be the outcome of this weekend, but Kasper Schurman's really has helped his fighting chances, having come into this round with just a 15-point deficit to Tommy Van der Stroys, who is not having the best day in the office. Swiderski is coming under pressure from Len Nys, going into turn number 10. So we're about to complete lap number 5, and at the minute, Schurman still leads. Strauven still in second as Max Swiderski runs through the big standing water puddle on the left-hand side of the approach, heading into turn 12. Schurman takes a look over the right shoulder and sees where Strauven is. It's just over 3 tenths between the pair. You then got Nys, Swiderski, Jonkers. You then got the 15 of Dries van Langendonk, Mateo Radenkovic, Karel Stout, Ollie Wise down in 9th, but is ahead of Tommy Van der Stroys from the Netherlands, who is absolutely nowhere in relation to the Brit's current position, who's going through turn 3, just behind Karel Stout. So Ollie Wise trying to get another good place here. So he's got a chance. He's got time on his side. We've got about 5.5 minutes remaining, plus an additional lap. So the top two now really have broken away. The gap between Thomas Strauven and Len Nys last time around was around 1.85 seconds, to be as precise as I can be. So Schurman's comes out of turn 11, quickly being followed by Thomas Strauven. Len Nys and Max Swiderski continue their battle for third place, as Olivier Jonkers just willing his cart to go further forward and go faster as he hopes. Ahead of Dries van Langendonk, Mateo Radenkovic, Karel Stout still having to fend off Ollie Wise from the United Kingdom for position. That is for 8th on the road. As we go into the last 5 minutes, plus an additional lap, it's 4 minutes and 43 seconds on the clock remaining. Swiderski goes a bit wide coming through turn 3, loses a little bit of ground in the battle for third position over Len Nys, as Tommy Van der Stroys is having the battle for 10th now. And up the inside, that looks like Kaz Tobben is trying to go up the inside of the 54. So 2 Dutch drivers over the bottom part of the top 10. So Van der Stroys still very much vehemently defending that position quite heftily there, and is not allowing Kaz Tobben to have an opportunity to get past. But Thomas Strauven really keeping pace with Kasper Schurman at the front of the field. Len Nys in third place. Max Swiderski rounds out the top 4. Then it's Olivier Jonkers completing the top 5. And in there are 3 GKS drivers. Then you've also got Dries van Langendonk, Matej Denkovic, Karel Stout, Ollie Wise, Tommy van der Stroys, Kaz Tobben, and Tom van Langendonk, as Kaz Tobben trying to get the run on Tommy van der Stroys on the short blast down into turn number 10. So we have 3.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. The gap between the top 2, just under 0.28 of a second. Strauven gets really close to the back bumper of Schurman's through into turn number 2. They both take the same sort of racing line going through, which is a little bit more of a wider sweep rather than hitting the apex and bouncing over the curbs, which would lose them time. As Ollie Wise, I think, has made the move on. Yes, he has. He's gone past Karel Stout and taken 8th place through turn 3. The pair were nearly side by side coming out of turn 2, and what a move from Ollie Wise. Really relishing these wet weather conditions, and Karel Stout, I think, just got a bit caught unawares there. And Ollie Wise just sprung right past in the 56. So the lead is now coming through into turn number 9, and we've got 2 minutes and 40 plus an additional lap left to go. The only positional change at the moment is that Ollie Wise has overtaken Karel Stout for position. That is 8th place now on the road. But they're still battling over it, and Karel Stout takes a tighter line. Wise goes wide out of turn 9, nearly goes 4 wheels onto the curbing on the runoff area on the outside of it, and has to relinquish the position to the number 3 from Belgium. But it's still even Steven in terms of the gap between first and second position. Casper Schurmans and Thomas Stuyven still leading the way. We're fast approaching the conclusion of their season. We're into the last 1 minute and 58 seconds, plus an additional lap. And Casper Schurmans is really doing a great job at the front and is controlling proceedings. He's not getting away from Thomas Stuyven, but this will help him no end at all. As they go through turn number 7. Now Nyes and Swiderski make their way through turn 7. There's a gap of around about 5 kart lengths going into the approach onto turn number 8 between the pair that are battling over 3rd and 4th place. And I'm just keeping an eye on what's happening a little bit further down, as Matej Denkovic still ahead of both Karel Stout and Ollie Wise. That's 7th, 8th and 9th on the road, as the top 2 now make their way down into turn 12. And we've got less than a minute remaining, plus an additional lap, and with the pace they're setting, this time around. Stuyven's got the run on Schurmans. It's a drag race heading towards turns 1 and 2. Stuyven had to back out of it quite wisely, goes towards the outside line to get the cut back into turn 2, but Schurmans was very wise to it. But no, Stuyven gets up the inside of Schurmans through turn 3. It looks like that might have been just a slight lack of control there, or a loss of control thereof for Casper Schurmans. So Stuyven just bided his time. He knew that this was going to be the penultimate lap. It is now, because we've only got 20 seconds of the Micromax season in the 2019 BNL Karting Series campaign to go. And it's going to count down. 7 seconds on the clock. They're probably going to get through halfway through turn 8, or just outside of turn 8 before the timer ticks away. That's it, time has run out. 0 strikes on the clock as the leaders now battling tooth and nail. Schurmans definitely wants to get past Stuyven again to retake the lead, which he has pretty much held for the majority of this race up until just a few corners ago. And Stuyven still leads. Schurmans definitely wants to get back into first place as they go through the final corner. Penultimate time of asking. Now the final lap board gets shown. And Len Nyes coming under pressure now from Max Swiderski, who's in the tow, going down, but Nyes takes the wise, tight defensive line. As Stuyven now just really keeping his wits about him, looking to see where Schurmans is in proximity, and Swiderski really hot on the heels of Len Nyes for 3rd place. Then we got Jonkers, Dries van Langendonk, Matej Denkovic, Stout and Wise still battling over that position. That is 8th on the road. And that'll be a great effort after a very testing weekend from the youngster from the United Kingdom in the 56. And, well, I cannot believe my eyes right now. What's happened with Tommy van der Stroy? He is stone dead last, is the number 54 in 12th position. And he's about 2.8 seconds off Kaz Tobben in the 21. As Shulmans is going to go for the lead. He's got it from Strauven, who instantly fights back on the run down to turn 10. So Shulmans tried it. It didn't work out. He got through turn 9 in the lead, and Strauven said, oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. He goes down into turn 10, comes out of turn 11 in the lead. The checker flag's going to be waved. The final time here for Micromax in 2019 in the BNL Karting Series, and taking the final victory of the season from GKS, it's Thomas Strauven. Kasper Schulmans takes a close second place. Third goes to Len Nys. Max Zadersky takes fourth. Olivier Jonkers fifth, ahead of Dries van Langendonk in 7th position. It's going to be close. It's going to be, looks to be Matej Radenkovic in the 99. Ahead of Karel Stout. Well done, Ollie Wise. A top 9 finish from the youngster from the United Kingdom in the 56th. Tom van Langendonk comes over in 10th place over the finish line. Kaz Tobben, and last, surprisingly, Tommy van der Stroy in the 54. But what a battle between Thomas Strauven and Kasper Schulmans, keeping me and probably the rest of the people still here entertained for the remainder of that race. So Thomas Strauven wins by less than half a second ahead of Kasper Schulmans. Len Nys in third, Max Zadersky fourth, Olivier Jonkers, Dries van Langendonk, Matej Radenkovic, Karel Stout, Ollie Wise, Tom van Langendonk, Kaz Tobben, and Tommy van der Stroy rounding out the order.